Hello, everybody. My name is Ratnos, and welcome to my guide to Echo of Neltharion Mythic. If you beat this boss, I also have a Sarkareth one that's up that it'll be in a playlist with this one as well. So, Echo of Neltharion Mythic is a highly precision-based encounter, and it is one that's important to have a good strategy built up for. I recommend using the Liquid Weak Aura package. Plus, there is a BDG slash Angered Weak Aura because some of the best Liquid Weak Auras were not made public. But there's a BDG Angered Weak Aura that will give you a map for both the portals and for the hearts in this fight using the zone map. So you open your zone map, like the one that's on screen, and then this weak aura anchors to that. You set the opacity of your zone map to 0 and move it to wherever you want on your screen, and then you will get a pop-up whenever volcanic hearts are coming out or whenever portals are coming out that will help you go to the right position on the screen. It's an incredibly powerful tool. This fight, the other way to solve this is what my guild did, which is we had a raid plan open on our second monitors, and we would look through all the phases and have our positions all planned out for all these mechanics. The mechanics are super duper important to have a specific plan for. You can't YOLO these mechanics really much at all. We actually tried to YOLO the volcanic heart mechanic for a few pulls at the start because we were like, look, clearly there's got to be a way that you can do this without strictly assigning 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? We were like, okay, let's assign 1 and 2 and let 3, 4, and 5 just go to wherever they're closest. Doesn't work, or at least didn't work for us. Maybe you guys will be able to figure it out, but not something that worked for us. So the fight starts out, and you're going to want some precise world marker positions throughout the room. You're going to want to put a blue marker, or whatever your first marker is, right next to the third wall segment from the wall here. And then the first Rushing Darkness comes out, and you want 2 people to get hit into the wall and 1 person to break the wall that's there at that blue marker. Then you want to move the boss a little bit, and the first Volcanic Hearts come out immediately after that. This Volcanic Heart, you're going to want 2 people, 1 and 2, to run through, and 3, 4, and 5 to go inside this area that you started in, around these 3 different spaces, and create a nice opening for yourself. How do you decide who is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5? Well, you basically are going to use a list. It is a private aura, so your weak auras can't tell who has got Volcanic Heart, but either your raid frames or a weak aura that creates a temporary raid frame for you whenever the mechanic comes out can show you who has the debuff next to them. So here you can see Blue, Aoxy, Lily X, and G-Chills all got the bomb, as well as 1 melee. The weak aura can not show any melee because only 1 melee can ever be targeted by Volcanic Heart. So you can go with the rule that melee are always 5 if they are targeted by Volcanic Heart, and they always know where they have to go. And then usually you just want to put immune classes and durable classes with big defensives like Warlock up near the top of your list, because 1 and 2 sometimes have to stack up on each other if you're going to use our strategy. And otherwise, 3, 4, and 5 generally don't have to move as far, but also never have to like stack up with each other and use big defensives to survive. So yeah, first one of the fight is you break open the wall here. 1 and 2 run through. 3, 4, and 5 are in the starting area. And then this wall gets rebuilt, but the tank smash comes out and you just break 1 wall segment right next to it. Every wall segment you break puts a dot on your raid, so you're going to want to break only 1 at a time, basically. Throughout this phase and throughout the fight, the goal is to not break excess walls. So you got the first fissure of the fight, and you move into the second part of the room. You have a green triangle, or we have a green triangle marker, but you use a marker to target the wall that you want to hit here. And again, just break 1 wall segment. So if you're going to use this one that we use here, what you're going to want to do is have the boss not be super far forward. If the boss is another step forward here, then breaking triangle is going to also smash you into these other walls. So by positioning the boss right here, you get a nice line through the triangle marker. That means that you're not going to break too much extra stuff. You also will want a weak aura that will assign 1 player to break the wall and other 2 players to just get knocked back harmlessly into the edge of the room. Because you don't want to break extra walls and you don't want multiple people doing that. So you want a weak aura that will assign healers, people with charges and stuff to be the wall breaker, and other people to just get knocked into the wall. The Liquid Weak Aura pack will have this functionality available for you, so you don't have to worry about any extra stuff for that. Another thing worth noting, by the way, is that most of the weak auras on this encounter you're going to want bigwigs and not DBM for. We had trouble with DBM for some of the weak auras that are designed for this fight. So if you have something weird that's not loading, check if that is the problem. So here comes the second Volcanic Hearts now. This is a very similar story. 1 and 2 run through. 3, 4, and 5 are in the same area that we are. And easy enough. Those Volcanic Hearts happen. Now here comes the other tank getting knocked through and opening up the wall again. Here's actually something I do. This is some Brewmaster tech. When a wall gets broken, you can dodge it. And that is good. But if you're a Brewmaster, you actually will have a 100% dodge chance here because of Elusive Brawler. And if you do dodge, it will then consume that 100% chance to dodge. And you still have 2 seconds of the huge physical damage taken debuff. That means you're going to get one shot if you take an auto attack here. So what I do is I turn around right before this wall gets broken. And that means when the wall gets broken, I don't dodge it. I still have a 100% chance to dodge the next attack. And Echo of Neltharion attacks me, and I successfully dodge it and do not get one shot. I also use Dampen Harm here so that if somehow I screw this up, I also don't get one shot because you don't need Dampen for anything else. But this just means I don't need to get healed, don't need to take any damage there. So if you're playing Brewmaster, that's a nice thing to know about. You want to bring the boss all the way back into this corner if you're the tank here and have this next fissure coming out. And each fissure is going to deal successively more damage. So we use our AMZ there, and you're going to want to use more and more basically as we go deeper in. You can see even one auto attack without the physical damage taken increase takes more than half of my health, which is pretty crazy. Now we're going to want to break this purple markered segment, and here comes the next set of Volcanic Hearts. So this one, 1, 2, and 3 go through on this one, and 4 and 5 stay in the room with us here and create a very small pocket of safety into which the entire rest of the raid has to stack. And then you can kind of use this one that's at a different angle from the others to get knocked into as the tank. If you're a Brewmaster, you can just transcend back, nice and easy. And the boss needs to come into the wall like this to spawn the fissure. And then you can get out. Here we're going to use Darkness and other abilities. I don't really know. I'm not a... This is the sort of thing that healers know. I actually don't know what healer cooldowns we committed to this. Go look at some logs if you're in charge of the healer assignments. Then we don't break any more walls with the Rushing Darknesses here. And this is a pretty nasty set of Volcanic Hearts. So 1 and 2 have to stack with each other here. So that's actually Terrasant and Liliax having to stack with each other here. Very unlucky that our first Volcanic Hearts were so low down our list here because these are not people that are supposed to get 1 and 2. And then 5 gets spell wardinged in the puddle there. Another thing I should mention, by the way, is that on 2 here, on the second one that happens, number 5 runs into the old fire and gets a Guardian Spirit to survive. So that's how we handled that one. But yeah, anyways, this one that we're talking about here, the 4th Volcanic Hearts of the encounter, number 5 takes a spell warding, and then 1 and 2 stand on top of each other and use defensives and get externals to survive. So again, that's Terrasant and Liliax here, and you can see they got the 2 stack, but they've got a lot of externals on themselves. Here comes that next Calamitous Strike, which again, we're not breaking any more walls. We take the boss into this corner by where the number 4 player with Volcanic Heart went. And now the goal is just to push the boss right after it has started casting the next Rushing Darkness. There's not too much more damage here for the next little bit, so we're just kind of chilling. And Rushing Darkness is going to come out in 1 second. 60% is when the boss pushes, and Rushing Darkness cast has started. And this is a perfect push. That means you should be careful because it's better to actually have been a little bit more careful than we were there, but we got lucky and it didn't push early because that would have been a little bit annoying, not the end of the world. P2 starts and the boss remakes the room with some new walls. And this phase, you're going to want to say, okay, stop cleaving. Do not blow up the people that are about to get mind controlled. Whenever people are about to get corruptioned, you want to make sure that you don't cleave them and kill them. And those people all get mind controlled at the end of this cast, at the start of this phase. And they can now hit that thing from Beyond Ad, and you can see very quickly it's broken out. All the people that get mind controlled swap targets and hard burn that because the sooner they break it out, the sooner they can get healed again and everybody can start cleaving. And we want to just kill this ad. The first tank mechanic of this fight gets used here to do nothing. You don't need to break any walls with this one. Tanks do need to look at the health of that shade that gets created. If the shade is low health, you're in trouble. For monks in particular, using Celestial Brew before the boss even hits you will mean the shade spawns at high health, and then you're not in much danger at all. But if you need to, you can heal or call for healing on the little shade. But yeah, because the boss does more damage to you based on the health of your shade with that tank mechanic when it spawns. Okay, so these are the sketchiest looking hearts of the fight. Here's the exact positions that 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 need to go on this one. And you'll see what that looks like here. Very narrow sliver of safety for the entire raid right on this position. If you do not go to these exact positions, you'll wipe the raid. So learn those positions and go stand on them. It's not a particularly good mechanic, but it is what we got. Rushing Darkness in this phase always gets knocked into the wall, or into the edge of the room, never breaks any walls. All the walls in this phase get broken by the tank mechanic, and it is the second and third tank mechanics of the phase that break walls here. So this first one is going to go through the middle of the room. The goal here is to only break 2 walls, and that's exactly what's happened. We only get 2 stacks of the debuff, and everybody is now gatewaying. Meanwhile, another set of corruption is coming out, so we are saying, don't cleave, stop cleaving, and another set of volcanic hearts is also coming out. This one is done, number 1 stays back and does it in the old room, and then gateways right after the heart explodes. And then 2, 3, 4, and 5 spread to basically the 4 corners of this room. So you can see that happening right here. Number 1 is staying back, 2, 3, 4, and 5 spread, and then number 1 can gateway before the walls close. Again, another set of Rushing Darkness comes out here. These run through the ad, so you want to be careful to make sure that you don't get hit by this and silenced and annoyed by that mechanic. But you basically have to do this to avoid getting walls broken. You can try and do it on one side of the ad and then have the other side of the ad be safe, and that's what we do, right? You can see all the raid is stacked up on the far side of the ad, and all the Rushing Darknesses came on this side of the ad and got knocked right into the edge of the room. Okay, so now here comes the second tank mechanic, or the third tank mechanic of the phase, the second that we use to break walls. The next set of volcanic hearts are handled just within this room. Again, there is enough space here to do all 5 without stacking anybody up, but it is very tight, and the tank player here is actually going to have to get hit by one of these. So this is defensives, and you see even Zen Meditation here to help survive through this. Again, I also use this trick of Celestial Brewing before I get hit by the initial hit so that my shade is full health when it spawns, and I'm not in any danger really from the execute damage of that mechanic. And then you open up the way to the third ad. Then here comes a big explosion. Those explosions do ramping damage in this phase, followed by 3 people being targeted by Rushing Darkness and, or I guess 5 people being targeted by the hearts, and then 2 seconds later, 3 people being targeted by the Rushing Darkness. All those mechanics go off at the exact same time. And so the way that we handle this one is that the numbers 2 and 3 go through into the next room, and then 1, 4, and 5 stay here, and the hearts kind of get shot in such a way that they're not going to be hit by any of the explosions because there's a little bit of space now that we only have 3 people in this area. So you can see what that looks like again. 2 and 3 are running through, 1 is staying back, and 4 and 5 have created, you can see there's this little gap over here, and the 3 Rushing Darkness people go there. Everybody else is on the boss, and then we are moving the boss and running through. Stop Cleave is called again because the next set of corruption is coming out. We get into the final area of phase 2, and these now tank slams are going to come out on the tank, but you don't break any more walls. And this is actually, I think this strat was developed by Honestly. In this last area, there's very little space. There are 2 different ways that you can handle this. You can either have the boss be sort of in the middle, and then you can have 1, 2 stack up, 3 and 4 stack up, and 5 by themselves. Or you can fight the boss right on the edge of the room here, and then you only have to have 1 and 2 stack up, and there's enough space for 3, 4, and 5 to not get cleaved by each other. It is very tight. Again, you can see there is nasty, but it does work. And then you can come back out a little bit and hit the ad for a while. And then for the next set of volcanic hearts, we do the exact same thing. We run into the wall, into the edge of the room, and don't get hit by them. But again, you can see it is real cozy in here. And then basically the timer to push out of this phase is we want to beat the next volcanic hearts. Echo of Neltharion is already damage immune, 34.5%. Damage does not do anything to Echo of Neltharion at this point. So you just push the boss, as you make sure the boss is that low, kill the ad before these hearts finish, and then stage 3 begins. Stage 3, there's no more volcanic hearts, but there is a new mechanic that requires a high degree of precision, and even better, this one has RNG associated with it of which portals spawn. So P3 starts out, and we bring the boss right over here, right by where our green, right into this corner, right next to where our green triangle marker was. That was the second knockback marker in P1. And then the boss is going to cast Sunder Reality and destroy the 20 walls closest to itself, and those will all turn into portals. The boss also does Tank Mechanic and Rushing Darkness in this phase, and you don't want to break any walls with these. These just go right into the wall, or into the edge of the room, and don't break any more walls. Breaking walls with these would be bad. So these portals spawn adds. You want to group these adds up, do some cleave, get the adds killed, nice and easy. Especially this first set, you're not going to have too many cooldowns for. You're not going to be lusted or anything yet. You're not going to have potions, all that kind of stuff. So you want to save those for right after you come out of this Ebon Destruction. Ebon Destruction, everybody has to hide in a portal. Standing in the portal gives you 99% reduced damage done, but it also means the Ebon Destruction is not going to kill you. Each portal can only hide one person. So here was our plan for how to handle this first set. Again, that BDG Angered Weak Aura will provide this for you on your map, and you can read the options or the WAGO page for it for how to configure it to assign everybody a portal. And basically, yeah, you each need to stand in one. Sometimes they spawn a little bit differently. So for instance, here you can see, oh, we had planned for 2 to be against the edge of the wall here, but about half the time 3 did. So I knew that I'm number 1. And I knew that if there was one actually over here, then this was number 1 and everything else kind of shifted over. That was something we learned. But yeah, everybody has one that they go stand into. Everybody stands next to theirs. Everybody goes and stands in theirs. And bang, all 20 portals are gone. If somebody doesn't stand in theirs, they're going to die. If 2 people stand in the same one of them will die at random. And there will be an extra portal up. And an extra portal up means you get extra adds, which is very annoying, especially this early in the phase. So especially the first one, you really want to make sure that everybody successfully finds their portal. If a couple people die in the later sets, it's a little bit less of a big deal. And that is what battle reses are for as well. But then that portal ends. We all come out. We hit our our bloodlust, and we are now just nuking the boss. Now we bring the boss over towards basically the blue marker where the first wall was broken at the start of P1, and that now will destroy a bunch of walls. And then we basically move the boss into the middle of the room because that's going to be right next to a bunch of portals, and the melee can basically take all of these portals that are kind of spawning in a little cup around the boss. Again, the Calamitous Strike is going to come out here, and you can see 38 seconds on Snap's debuff, 8 seconds on mine. So I'm going to have to tank the boss with this damage taken increase for a while. So that is a good use of Dampen Harm. Paladins have Bubble, which is also really good for this. But then, yeah, next set of portals come out. Here's our plan for where everybody's going to go with these. And you can see we do that. And a couple people screwed this one up. 3 people didn't do it. We have 1 battle res, 1 Ankh. And we actually just hold this res in case a tank dies at this point, because that's the main way that we could wipe. So here now is going to be the next tank mechanic on me. Huge physical damage taken increase, but the other tank is bubble taunting, so I just transcend back in here. And here would be the 3rd portals of the fight. This is the last set. There are only 60 ones that can spawn. 3 times 20 is 60. This is all of them. And so these are our planned portals to be taken. These 2 red ones are from the VOD we used to generate this were left alive because people screwed up on soaking them in the previous set. But you will probably have some extra portals at this point. You do want to have a rough idea, though, of where everybody is going and have them all kind of know which part of the room they're going to go to. And everybody takes one of these, and you come back and you kill the boss here. You have a little bit of time before anything serious happens at this point. The main way you would wipe from here is tanks dying, so tanks should be ready to kite aggressively here, especially if one tank dies. The other tank is very likely to die very quickly and should be running around kiting the boss and having threat on as many of the adds as possible, especially if you have old portals. Those things start just spitting out adds, and the adds do increasing damage the longer they live. So you want to make sure that you have those things under control. You can see here I get GS, and I'm just running for my life against all these aberrations that are following me. But Echo Neltharion is dead here long before it needed to be, right? The Hardened Rage on this is Big Bang 4, which is still 10 seconds away from the cast starting, I think. So very Again, one of the many fights in this tier where if you do it right, the damage check is not one that you will encounter necessarily at all, even on your first kill. I hope this video helped. I hope if you're progressing on this encounter, it will have saved you some wipes. That's my goal with these. If you do succeed, kill this boss, go check out my Sarkareth guide, which is very similar. If you have any questions, put them in the comments and I will try my best to answer them, or find my Discord and DM me there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.